My Magical Boyfriend, Chapter 2. "I'm sorry about Mom," I said as we climbed into my car, a silver Toyota Corolla with two-tone gray seats and a dark gray dashboard. I kept it mostly clean. I didn't mind a bit of dust or smudges on the windows. "I'm Ash Wilkes, and my old boyfriend, Nelson, dumped me last night. And then I met someone magical. Literally." "Is your mom always like this? I mean, territorial about your boyfriends?" Irato asked. Taller than me with a black floppy mop, somehow, in a matter of hours, the Greek man had become my new boyfriend. However, Mom did not like him and kicked him out of her apartment. That's why Irato and I are apartment hunting right now. That brought the big problem. I have to kiss Irato every day, or he is gone, disappears. We signed a contract that is very explicit. Irato is not like my other boyfriends, because no one I've ever met can walk out of a TV. "I can't explain it," I said. "She wants me to date and meet new people, and then she doesn't like anybody I date. I don't know why." "Doesn't matter," Irato said. "Let's go to the first place on your list." The first place was a large complex just down the road with a swimming pool and clubhouse. Mom had looked at this place right after the divorce. She complained that they were too expensive. She was right. I'd have to drop out of college and get a second job to afford this place. The second apartment on my list was in a smaller complex with no swimming pool and no clubhouse. The one-bedroom ground floor unit available smelled of mold and old cat litter. Moving on. My third apartment choice was closer to the university and was on the third floor of a very nice complex. It was nice enough, had a nice discount because it was also a recently released crime scene. Murder, if I remember the news reports. "The vibes are off," Irato said. The place also gave me the queasies. We both nearly ran back to my car to get away. The first place on Irato's list was a studio apartment converted from a two-car garage. A wall had been built where the garage door had been. It didn't have air conditioning, which is of critical importance in Las Vegas. We nixed that apartment. We could never find the second place on Irato's list. His half-brother, Air, had suggested it, but his directions were a bit wonky. The third apartment was a little different. Dump would be too nice a word. It had once been a small coffee shop, I think, but was now filled with at least a ton of stacked magazines, piles of old clothing, about 120 dozen beer bottles, 10 or more broken chairs, broken tables, and literally a ton of old papers littered the entire place. Months back, somebody had broken in, maybe more than one person, and had made a nest amidst the garbage. The place was dark and musty, with boards suffocating most of the windows. The wood hadn't protected a couple of windows from getting broken. I made the mistake of opening the fridge. It smelled of long rotted milk and had the remains of something growing inside. "That stuff's dangerous to breathe," Irato said. I completely agreed with him. I closed the fridge quickly, spilling a large pile of yellowed paperback novels. At least 20 old pots decorated the room, but the plants inside them had long ago died. The remains of wallpaper covered the walls, but too many holes prevented me from seeing the pattern. Someone once cherished this place, but now it was rotting away. The large old coffee machine still sat on the counter, but its buttons had been stolen, and somebody had spray-painted the F-bomb across the front, as well as almost every other swear word I could think of. The floor had so much crap on it that I could not see what was underneath. I did find 3 dead cats and 5 dead mice, and many places that could house a swarm of bugs. If this place could ever be turned into a livable space, it would take an exterminator. "I like this place," Irato said. The place smelled of rot and ancient leaves and the sharp smell of old sweat. The power, gas, and water had been turned off years ago. The older couple who owned it ran a small sandwich shop next door, but had retired and wanted to tour the world for a year. Their niece took care of the place. They were looking for someone to clean up the coffee shop, make the dump livable. I picked up a pile of old, filthy coffee filters and looked at the disaster around the room. Being homeless would be better than living here, and after the way Mom had acted, that was where I was going to be. Why was I doing all this? Because I liked Irato. The contract was devilishly simple. Kiss Irato every day, but if I missed even one kiss, Irato would be gone, and I'd be alone. An odd pang hurt my heart. Alone. I did not like that feeling. Irato stood next to me, took my hand, and gently said, "Talk to me." The problem, as cheap as this place was, I could afford it only if Irato paid half, but it would require a lot of work. The other problem, Irato took a deep breath as if tasting mountain air and said, "What do you think? The vibes are energetic. I love this place." Irato must see something about this place that I don't. I tried to give him a cheerful smile as I replied, "It needs a bit of elbow grease and maybe a match." My new boyfriend took my hand and led me to the back. 2 storage rooms and an ancient, defunct bathroom were back there, as well as a small kitchen. The stove only had 2 burners, and only my smallest sheet pan would fit into the tiny oven. It became very apparent that I could not afford any of these places, and I didn't want to go back to Mom's apartment, not after realizing how much she resented me leeching off of her. The dorms, though cheaper, were not an option, because if I wanted Irato to stick around, I had to kiss him every day, and Irato wasn't a student. Rent and utilities and other bills, so that is what Mom had to deal with every day. Growing up sucks. I could afford my own place, if I dropped out of school. Or Irato was rich. I doubt that. Irato handed me a notebook and a pen. Where had those come from? He stood behind me, wrapped his arms around me, and held me. "I know it looks bad," he said, "but don't look at the now. Close your eyes and dream the magic." This is stupid. This place is an impossible trash heap. There is no way we could recover this place. It would probably need a new roof, a serious plumber to look at the water lines, an electrician to update the power lines, and who knows what shape the gas lines would be in. "Shush," Irato whispered. "If this is too much, then don't kiss me tomorrow, and your life will go back to how it was." "Will you help?" I whispered back. Irato kissed the back of my neck. "What if I kissed you 100 times today?" I asked. "Would that mean you're with me for 100 days?" "Like a rose, kisses have a shelf life," Irato said. "Each day must have its own kiss, fresh to that day. Now close your eyes. Imagine your ideal apartment. Imagine where we will sleep. What kind of furniture? What does the floor look like? The lights, the dishes, appliances. Dream big." I pictured the place as something nice, a coffee shop turned into an apartment. I pictured the place as if I had free reign and $1,000,000 to spend. A show place where my friends could come, where Irado and I could cuddle while watching the flat screen, or where I could make a fantastic dinner while waiting for my love to climb out of the TV. When I thought that, Irado chuckled. Could he read minds as well as travel through flat screens? "Open your eyes," Irado whispered. "What do we need to do to make your vision come true?" I opened my eyes and regretted it immediately. I stared at a pile of broken coffee cups I hadn't noticed before, at a couple of smashed coffee pots, and a large pile of spilled coffee beans. "There is a ton to do," I said. "How will we get this place all cleaned up?" "Make a list," Irado said, "and we'll start at the top. It might take a month or 6, but we'll get you there." "You'll help me?" I asked. "A simple kiss lets Irado play all day," he said. I wrote a list that turned into a 5-page long list. An exterminator would be nice, and some of the windows needed replacing, and the door was a little stiff. And the place stunk like stale sweat and rotting food and old cats and bugs. But what if I learned how to repair walls, and painting would be cheaper than wallpaper, and I could add new stylish light fixtures, and we could have a small living room with a flat screen by the door, and we had to make sure the air conditioning worked. This was Vegas. A cool, safe zone was critical to survival. An idea suddenly hit, and I said, "What if we did all this work and the landlord gave us a huge discount on rent? We turn this place into something extraordinary, and ours, but I don't know how to paint a wall." "There is a YouTube video for everything," Irado said. A lightness filled me. I think the emotion was hope. It was happening. This dump would someday become home. No longer would I be dependent on Mom. No longer would I have to worry about her disapproval. I could be my own man. Irado could sleep with me as much as he wanted, and who cared what anybody thought? After all, he'd live here. My friends could crash here on weekends. Since we had no neighbors, we could be loud and party. Or Irado and I could be quiet and just cuddle on the sofa. Make a note, need a sofa. "It can really happen," I said. Irado once again hugged me from behind and lightly kissed me on the back of my neck. "I'll be here helping every step of the way, but first things first, let's go talk to the owners about the lease, and then see about getting power, water, gas, and sewer turned back on. And I'll need to collect my things, and we'll need about 1,000,000 garbage bags," I said. "And cleaning products," he said. I took a breath and surveyed the space. I had my doubts, so I said, "I have work and school, and you have your job. We'll only have evenings and weekends. Do you think we can really fix this place?" Irado's smile became infectious, and he said, "This little shop wants to come back to life as much as you do. It won't be easy, but creation seldom is. Good thing creation is my specialty. So, yes, with a little bit of help, you can do this." By 4 that afternoon, I had signed the lease, forked over next semester's tuition money for the down payment, called the various utility companies to come turn on the utilities, and provided down payments for those. Gosh, living is expensive. Don't think Irado didn't help out. He paid the first 3 months' rent, arranged for a dumpster to be parked out in front of the coffee shop, delivered tomorrow morning, bought us both a pair of heavy gloves, and ceremoniously did the honors by filling the first garbage bag with a pile of rotten cloth. We compared tallies. So far, we'd paid about equal amounts each. He had to head to work because he had the evening shift. We kissed, and he walked into a window and was gone. I guess he could use other things besides flat screens. I touched the glass, as warm and solid as expected. Neat trick. Wish he would teach me how to do that. I took the couple of garbage bags we'd filled and drove back to Mom's apartment and dumped them in her dumpster. Should I stay there one more night, at least until everything was connected, or brave staying in my new place? I said hi to my sister and took Goose outside. Mom wasn't home yet. As soon as I fed the dog, I showered, threw my clothes in the washing machine, and looked through my things. The biggest boxes I would have to pack, since I had bought most of it, would come from the kitchen. Pots, non-stick pans, cookie sheets, a lot of utensils. Boxes would be nice. I packed my clothes in a garbage bag and took them to my car. Another bag had a lot of smaller items. Mom got home, and when she saw me taking stuff to my car, she kind of smirked evilly. "You're as stupid as your dad, never thinking things through, never realizing when he had it good, and now you're abandoning your life to chase after a pretty face." "Why should you care?" I asked. A strong bitterness came out as she said, "Your dad left a good home and a good family, and for what? I would have welcomed him back. Men are weak and wander all the time, but your dad wouldn't come back." "Don't worry," I said. "I won't either." "You found a place in less than a day?" she asked. "Yep," I said. "They're turning the electricity on tomorrow." "What about your bed?" "I'll get a truck for next weekend," I said. And that was that. Mom walked away, shaking her head at how stupid I was. Except, just before bed, I turned the flat screen on in my room and said, "Irado, can you hear me?" His face appeared immediately and lit up with a grin. I didn't recognize the place he was at. Part garden, part reception hall, and quite large. "Been a night," he said. I nodded and said, "Do you want to come over?" He looked about for a second, then calmly stepped through the flat screen and stood next to me. I tuned the flat screen to play soft music, and we lay down on my bed and cuddled until we fell asleep. The second we woke, I kissed him for the day, and he disappeared back into the flat screen. I finished packing my belongings into the car and drove to school. I've arranged my classes to be in the morning, which usually works out to 2 classes each day, but 3 on Thursdays. I work part-time at Samwich's, a sandwich shop about a mile from my new place. It's owned by Sam Benson, and I help in the afternoons. People generally don't stop by in the evenings, preferring lunchtime. When I get a minute, I make chocolate chip cranberry cookies and triple chocolate marshmallow brownies that we can sell on the side. I like Sam in his little shop. Though we get busy, the crowd is personable and fun. He also has a flat screen on the wall constantly showing the news. Can Irado watch me through there? The dumpster Irado had ordered was sitting in front of our new place. For some reason, I hadn't noticed the outside of the coffee shop. It had once been painted a light terracotta, but now it had faded into a bland stone color. Irado must have been here earlier because the 2 front windows were no longer boarded, and the old boards were in the dumpster, as well as a few broken tables. The power had been turned on, but only half the lights worked. The water was working, but when I turned on the faucet, brown mulch dribbled out. I left the water on to see if it would start running clear. Irado had hung a modest flat screen in the area we designated as the living room. I smiled. I could watch him on TV tonight while I cleaned. My new place was still a horror show. But I saw it with new eyes. I saw it as it could be. Was that how Irado saw me? Completely messed up, but with some potential? I doubt it. Time to stop daydreaming because it was my turn to get started cleaning. First, I propped a window open to begin airing out the place. Second, I'd need a place to put my clothes. The back storage room could be turned into a nice roomy closet. After it was cleaned out. Old squished cardboard boxes filled it now. I also suspected the tiny pellets might be mouse droppings. After taking the boxes out, I donned rubber gloves and pine sawed the life out of the floor. At least one closet in this dump looked clean and smelled clean. And look at that light oak hardwood floors. Wouldn't you know it, the light above me went off. I tried to find a stable chair to stand on. The best one I found was a bar stool. I took a working light bulb from a different fixture, arranged the stool as best I could, and carefully climbed atop the wobbly construct. I crouched atop it, afraid of stretching tall. If the stool fell, who knew what I would fall into? Metal cans, another corpse, ancient vomit, a weak spot in the floor. The light bulb was still out of reach. I stood on my toes, careful to reach the light. If I fell and injured myself, even knocked myself out, nobody would know. I'd never told Mom where my new place was. She never asked anyway. Jocelyn didn't know. Goose would have tried to help me if she had been here. My new landlord didn't know. The only person who would find me was Errato, and I doubt he'd come by until tomorrow morning. He had to work. Screw it, I'm scaring myself. I reached up, holding the good bulb in my left hand, and unscrewed the dead bulb with my right. So far, so good. I carefully switched the good bulb to my right hand and reached up. I needed a little more height. Once again, I carefully, gently stood on my toes. The little bit of light caught the dull edge of a half-opened can lying in the garbage. The sharp, exposed metal sent a chill of nervousness through me. I focused on the socket above my head, and gently, wobbly, scarily screwed in the light bulb. It flickered to life. Success. I had light. I could breathe again. The sudden brightness startled me. I jerked sideways just a little, but enough to topple the stool. The stool fell with a clank. The old papers shuffled across the floor. I fell sideways. The world moved in slow motion. With the bright light, the sharp metal of cans looked monstrously huge. There were a lot of them. It was like some homeless guy ate nothing but cans of beans, and all of those cans of beans were down there below me. Oh, God, how many stitches would I need? No time to scream. I hate tetanus shots. Sorry, Errato, I mumbled as I fell. The sharp edges of the cans came closer. This would hurt. Oh, my God, what am I going to do? I turned my head to keep from hitting the cans with my face. And then I stopped. Inches above the floor, inches above the sharp metal. I wasn't falling. Something held me up. Slowly, I rose, shifting further from the metal. Safe. I'd been holding my breath. I let it out and saw Errato, his hand in some strange gesture where his thumb held down his middle and end fingers, but his index and ring finger pointed at me. A gentle light surrounded him, and he had a guitar slung across his back. As I regained my footing, he walked over and held me, his eyes full of concern. "Are you okay?" he asked. I nodded and said, "How did you get here?" To which he smiled, lightly kissed me, and said, "The contract binds us. Until you end our agreement, I will always know when you are in trouble, and if I can, I will find you." How did you catch me?" I asked. Errato simply smiled and said, "Trade secret, but it is bad for business to have a client injured while they are under my care. Since we don't have a working kitchen yet, I brought dinner, and Air has arranged for a bed." Your half-brother is a delivery guy. You walk through flat screens and catch me just by pointing at me? Who are you? I asked. Eratosthenes, at your service, he said, his smile suddenly twinkling into existence. We ate Chinese takeout, beef and broccoli, stir-fried rice, and a noodle dish with egg and mixed vegetables. With the two of us working together, we managed to clear out a large space in the front and kick a decent trail to the back. Somehow, the place smelled better. Erato, Ash, are you there? You've gotten a lot done, yelled a voice from the open front door. We went to look. Air stood there, wearing his delivery uniform. He had black hair just like Erato, but was leaner, skinnier, with eyes that blazed gold. That was fast, Erato said, and walked over to his half-brother. Did you have any trouble? Air smirked and said, Yuri notices everything, but he's on your side. Mimi is a little worried about you. You haven't called her in 6 months, and your dad is too busy to care about family issues. Erato turned to me and said, Yuri's my little brother. One of the 9, I said. Cal is the oldest, I'm third oldest, and Yuri is the youngest, Erato said. Cal thinks he should run the universe, Air quipped, but kept his voice low. Erato ignored him and said, Mimi is my mom. Not Dad's first affair partner, but third or fourth maybe. So your dad believes in a revolving door kind of marriage, I asked. Dad's as pansexual as a phrasexual can be, Erato said. And he's not quiet about it, Air said. How do your grandparents feel about it? I asked. Grandpa died a long time ago, and Grandma has been traveling the world, Air said. You won't believe this, but she loves to wrestle and is part of a wrestling team. She says she'll never marry again. One thing we all love about her is that she never forgets anybody's birthday or anniversary or anything important. Our family is huge and complicated, Erato said. Let's take care of the bed, and then let me show you what I'm good at. With Air's help, we set up the bed and a couple of candles to help with the smell. After Air had left and the takeout was gone, Erato and I sat on the bed while he pulled out his guitar, quickly tuned it, and began to sing. His voice stole my heart. He sang for a couple of hours, never repeating a song. His music transported me to a place of warmth and romance and love. Later, he set the guitar down and cuddled me close to him and softly, gently, peacefully, romantically sang until I fell asleep. As I drifted off, I took hold of his hand and whispered, Erato, I know who you are. You're a wizard. He leaned over and kissed me. The electric tingle was as strong as the first time we kissed. Eratosthenes, my wizard. As I slept in Erato's arms, Air must have returned because I thought I heard him ask, Are you sure he's the one? The ants are never wrong, Erato gently said. I'd stake my life on it. Cal will go full-out murder mode when he finds out, Air said. His temper is as bad as Dad's, Erato said. You won't say anything? You know me, fastest lips to keep a secret, Air said. You need to worry about Terry, though. The family gossip. My brother doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut, Erato whispered. Or when, Air said. I know you don't like Gan, but he's reliable, and Dad listens to him. I felt a hand brush through my hair, and Erato whispered, Amen, brother. Don't worry, I'll keep Ash safe. You know, he's kind of cute when he's asleep like this, and I love the way he can kiss. Is somebody falling in love? How long has it been? Air softly sang. A minute later, I heard the door close behind him, and then my wizard boyfriend Irado snuggled down next to me, softly humming a romantic song that lulled me into the deepest sleep I had ever known. I don't know if Irado was falling in love, but I sure was. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been part 2 of My Magical Boyfriend. I'm Gio, writer and reader of this piece, and thank you for joining me. If you'd like to hear other stories about gay men falling in love, please visit my channel. Peace.